NewsTalk ZB Sport, brought to you by Thompson's Power Tool Centre, Onikawa, with the biggest range of power tools and accessories in Hawke's Bay.
Hawke's Bay's NewsTalk ZB. Saw a thing the other day. It said, free websites help Kiwi sports clubs. As it turns out, it's a facility called Sports Ground, and it's actually hosted out of Hawke's Bay. The engineers live here, lifestyle choice, well, who would disagree with that? Mike Purchase is involved with this sports ground. I thought because it's basically aimed at sports clubs, it's a good place to talk about it. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Ross.
Where did the idea first start for this website?
Going back a couple of years now, it was really recognition that of the sports clubs around New Zealand, and we've calculated that there are over 7,000 clubs across the country. Only about 25% of them even had a website, and about half of those were relying on volunteers that had web design skills but may have been out of date when volunteers shift on from a club.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw there's a real need, and we decided to start doing something about it. So it took about 2 years of planning and design before we released the service last October.
The word free is interesting. How are you doing it free?
Yeah, that was an important point, because I think one of the reasons that web engineers or web designers have typically or largely ignored the sports industry for community sports clubs was that there's not a lot of money to go into web design. Mm-hmm. It's a great tool in terms of keeping people up to date, but you just can't afford to go and sink thousands of dollars into a website. So we decided we had to, if we're going to get into this or provide the service, we had to have a very different model. So we decided that it had to be free. We wanted also the service to be incredibly easy to use. That was another one of our prerequisites. But to make it free, we decided the normal method of having things free online is to include advertising banners.
Yes.
We do that, but we do it with a twist. What we do is we give the advertising banners effectively to the sports club to use as a fundraising mechanism.
Wow.
So the sports club can go and raise funds through those banners. They're interactive, so any advertiser can go to their favourite sports club, click on the banner position, and they can upload their own message or advert right there and then. It's approved by the club, and then as a method of fundraising for the club, it's wonderful. So in terms of our own commercial model, 2/3 of that revenue raised through those banners goes to the club, and 1/3 contributes towards the cost of keeping the sites running.
Fantastic idea. I've got to say, Mike, you mentioned about keeping things up to date, because part of my job here is being a journalist, and I sort of concentrate pretty much on the sports thing. I use sports websites a lot to get information, contacts for different sports clubs, and the numbers that aren't up to date, got wrong information from 2003, presidents' names who no longer work for the club. It's amazing the number of those websites which are out of date.
I definitely agree, and it's incredibly frustrating when it really doesn't need to be that way anymore. I think this kind of system's possible now, whereas it may not have been possible 5 years ago. With a database sort of systems like this, the way that it makes it very easy if a club wants to upload text, photos, videos, newsletters, all of that kind of thing, or even having group email generated straight from their website. They don't need software anymore. They can simply click login, point and click, upload a photo, change some text, name player of the day, and so forth, save it, and there it is, live for the world to see.
Amazing. So is it easy to get involved with this, Mike? What's the first step for a sports club that doesn't even have a website, never even thought about it, but are listening to this and saying, gee, not a bad idea? What's their first point of call?
Well, we've tried to make it very, very easy. By what we've done is we've actually reserved a site for every sports club in the country that we could find. So we from the get-go, we went and set up a reserved site for almost 6,000 clubs across New Zealand. So any sports club that's listening to this can simply go to www.sportsgrounds.co.nz and find their site. So there'll be a reserved site there for every club. Now, you may already have a website, and that's fine. You can keep your own domain name, your own web address, you can do all of that sort of thing. But if you want to get a little bit more from your site, you go to www.sportsground.co.nz, and there's a simple search mechanism to find your site, and you can simply claim it and start using it.
Amazing. What a fantastic thing, and it's all parented out of Hawke's Bay.
It certainly is.
Mike, great to chat with you. Thanks for joining me this morning. What an excellent thing for sports clubs.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ross.